The door creaked open just a fraction, and there it was, the sight that shattered my world in an instant. My stepmother, Sophia, pressed against the kitchen counter, her arms wrapped around Abigail, my closest friend since high school, their lips meeting in a kiss that spoke of secrets long hidden. I froze, the grocery bag slipping from my hands, crashing to the floor like the pieces of my trust. My heart pounded in my ears as I backed away, but not before Abigail's eyes flicked open and met mine. Panic flashed across her face, and she pushed Sophia away, whispering something frantic. Sophia turned, her composed facade cracking for the first time I could remember. Her cheeks flushed not just from the moment but from the exposure. I didn't wait for explanations. I turned and ran up the stairs to my room, slamming the door behind me. How could this be happening? Abigail, the one person I'd confided in about everything, my fears, my dreams, even my own confusing feelings about women, and Sophia, the woman who'd stepped into our family after Mom's death, always so proper, so insistent on appearances. Were they together? The thought twisted in my gut like a knife. Sitting on my bed, I replayed the scene over and over. Abigail and I had been inseparable since we met in sophomore year. She was the outgoing one, always dragging me to parties, while I was the quiet observer, burying myself in books and college applications. We'd shared late-night talks about life, love, and the future. I'd even hinted at my attraction to girls, testing the waters, and she'd been supportive, never judging. But now? This betrayal felt personal, like she'd taken my vulnerabilities and turned them into her own hidden affair. Sophia, on the other hand, had always been a pillar of control. Dad married her 5 years ago, when I was 17, and she tried to fill the void left by Mom's cancer. At first, I resented her. The way she redecorated the house, enforced family dinners, pushed me to be more social. But over time, I'd grown to respect her strength, her career as a lawyer fighting for women's rights. She was 40, poised, with that air of someone who'd clawed her way up from nothing. And Abigail? 21 like me, full of life, studying art at the local community college. How had they even crossed paths beyond our family gatherings? The question swirled in my mind, fueling a storm of anger and confusion. Was this why Abigail had been spending more time at our house lately, claiming she needed a quiet place to study? Or why Sophia had been oddly cheerful, humming tunes in the kitchen? I felt like a fool for not seeing it. But deeper down, a sharper pain emerged, jealousy. Not just because Abigail was my friend, but because I'd harbored feelings for her myself, unspoken crushes that I'd buried under layers of denial. Seeing her with Sophia, someone so much older, so forbidden, made my own desires feel tainted, wrong. I heard footsteps on the stairs, then a soft knock. "Charlotte? Can we talk?" It was Sophia's voice, steady but laced with urgency. I didn't respond. What was there to say? This wasn't just an affair. It was a collision of worlds, family, friendship, and the societal lines we weren't supposed to cross. Abigail's voice joined in, pleading, "Char, please. It's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought and more. I curled up on the bed, tears stinging my eyes. How do you confront the people you love when they've built a secret life without you? The silence stretched, heavy with unspoken accusations. Eventually they left, whispering to each other in the hallway. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing through the implications. Dad was away on a business trip, oblivious as always. What would he say if he knew? His conservative views on family, drilled into us from his Midwestern roots, would shatter him. And me? I was caught in the middle, torn between loyalty to him, my lingering affection for Abigail, and a reluctant understanding of Sophia's loneliness in our fractured home. As night fell, I couldn't sleep. Every creak in the house amplified my paranoia. Were they downstairs, comforting each other? Planning how to spin this? The betrayal gnawed at me, but so did the curiosity. What had drawn them together? Sophia with her structured life and Abigail chaotic and free-spirited. It didn't make sense, yet it did, opposites attracting in the shadows. By morning I knew I had to face them. Avoidance wasn't an option. This secret was too explosive. I dressed quickly, my hands shaking, and headed downstairs. The kitchen smelled of fresh coffee, a facade of normalcy. Sophia was at the table, sipping from her mug, while Abigail paced by the window, her eyes red-rimmed. "Charlotte," Sophia began, her voice calm but eyes pleading. "We need to explain." I crossed my arms, leaning against the doorframe. "Explain what? That you've been sneaking around behind my back? Behind Dad's?" Abigail stopped pacing, turning to me with desperation. "It started innocently. We were just talking about art, about life. Sophia's been so supportive of my work." "Supportive?" I scoffed. "Is that what you call it? Kissing in our kitchen?" Sophia's face hardened slightly. "It's more than that, Charlotte. But we never meant to hurt you." "Hurt me?" The words echoed in my head. Of course it hurt. Abigail was supposed to be mine, my friend, my confidant. And Sophia? She was family, bound by vows and expectations. This wasn't just personal. It was a violation of everything society deemed right. We sat down, the air thick with tension. They told their story in fragments, late-night conversations when Dad was away, shared laughs over wine, a connection that deepened unexpectedly. Abigail admitted she'd been questioning her sexuality for years, much like I had. Sophia confessed her marriage to Dad was more companionship than passion, a safe harbor after her own failed relationships. Listening, I felt a mix of rage and empathy. Rage at the secrecy, empathy for their hidden struggles. But empathy didn't erase the pain. "What about Dad?" I demanded. "Does he deserve this?" Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "I love your father, but not in the way he needs. I've been denying who I am for too long." Who she was, a lesbian trapped in a heterosexual marriage. The revelation hit me like a wave. All those years, her advocacy work wasn't just professional. It was personal. And Abigail? She was the catalyst, the one who made Sophia feel alive again. As the conversation dragged on, I realized this was just the beginning. The choices ahead were fraught with consequences. Tell Dad and risk destroying the family, or keep silent and live with the lie. My own feelings for Abigail complicated everything. Confessing them now would only add fuel to the fire. By the end of that morning, nothing was resolved. We agreed to a fragile truce, but the damage was done. I left the house, needing space, my mind a whirlwind of moral dilemmas. Was love worth the betrayal? Could I forgive them? Or would this secret tear us all apart? Walking the streets of our quiet suburban neighborhood in upstate New York, I tried to clear my head, but the images haunted me. Abigail's hand on Sophia's waist, the intimacy I'd interrupted, it replayed like a bad dream. I ended up at the park where Abigail and I used to hang out, swinging on the old rusty swings, sharing secrets under the stars. Sitting there now alone, I wrestled with my emotions. Part of me wanted to hate them, to label their relationship as wrong, immoral. Society had taught me that family structures were sacred, age gaps suspicious, same-sex love still a battleground in many circles. But another part, the part I'd suppressed for years, understood. I'd felt that pull toward women, that quiet ache when Abigail laughed or touched my arm casually. Was I jealous because she chose Sophia over me? The thought made me cringe. Sophia was twice our age, a figure of authority. What did Abigail see in her? Stability? Experience? Or was it rebellion against her own strict Catholic family, who expected her to marry young and settle down? My phone buzzed, a text from Abigail. "Please meet me. We need to talk alone." I hesitated, then replied with the park's location. Minutes later she appeared, her usual vibrant energy dimmed, hands stuffed in her pockets. "Char," she started, sitting beside me. "I'm so sorry you found out like that." Sorry I found out, or sorry it happened? I shot back, my voice sharper than intended. She winced. Both maybe, but I don't regret her. Sophia. She gets me in ways no one else does. Gets you? She's my stepmom, Abby. This isn't some college fling. It's messing with my family. Abigail's eyes welled up. I know, but love doesn't follow rules. We've been careful, but it's real. Real. The word stung. Was my crush on her any less real? I wanted to scream it out, but pride held me back. Instead, I probed deeper. How long? 6 months. It started after that family barbecue. We talked all night while you and your dad watched the game. 6 months of lies. Every sleepover, every shared meal tainted. And you never thought about how this would affect me? Of course I did. That's why we kept it secret. Your dad's views. He's not exactly progressive. Dad. The elephant in the room. A successful engineer, he prided himself on traditional values, church on Sundays, family first. If he knew Sophia was gay, that she'd been unfaithful with my best friend, it would devastate him. Divorce, custody battles over nothing since I was an adult, but the emotional fallout would be nuclear. I have to tell him, I muttered more to myself. Abigail grabbed my arm. Please don't. Not yet. Give us time to figure this out. Figure it out? What was there to figure? Their affair was a ticking bomb. But her touch sent a familiar spark through me, complicating my resolve. Why her, Abby? Why not someone your age? She looked away, biting her lip. Age doesn't matter when you connect. Sophia's been through so much, losing her first love to homophobia, marrying your dad to fit in. She's brave. Brave. I envied that. I'd hidden my own sexuality, dating boys in high school to blend in, fearing judgment. Now this revelation forced me to confront it all. We talked for hours, the sun dipping low. Abigail shared details, stolen moments, whispered promises. It hurt, but it humanized them. Still, the betrayal lingered. As she left, hugging me tightly, I felt torn. Loyalty to Dad pulled one way, friendship another. That night, back home, Sophia cornered me in the living room. Dad was due back tomorrow, time was running out. Charlotte, I need you to understand, she said, her voice low. Your father and I. It's been platonic for years. We care for each other, but passion? That's gone. So you cheat? I accused. It's not that simple. I've denied my truth to please everyone. My family, society, even myself. Meeting Abigail changed that. Her words echoed my inner turmoil. Was I doing the same, denying my feelings to avoid conflict? But her choice had consequences. What about the family? The lies? She sighed. Lies protect sometimes. But if you tell him, I'll face it. Just know, this isn't about hurting anyone. I went to bed unsettled, dreams plagued by confrontations. Morning brought Dad's arrival, his cheerful hug oblivious to the tension. Over breakfast I watched them, Sophia smiling politely, Abigail absent but her shadow looming. The day dragged, my mind debating ethics. Tell and uphold honesty, or stay silent and preserve peace. Each option carried pain. By evening I couldn't hold it in. As Dad settled in with his newspaper, I approached. Dad, we need to talk. He looked up, concerned. What's wrong, kiddo? Before I could speak, Sophia entered, her face pale. Actually, Richard, there's something I need to say first. My heart stopped. She was going to confess. I braced for the explosion, but Dad's reaction surprised us all. Is this about you and that young woman? Sophia gasped. You know. He nodded sadly. I've suspected for months. The late nights, the whispers. I hired a private investigator. The room spun. He'd known? And said nothing? Why didn't you confront her? I demanded. Dad rubbed his temples. Because I love her in my way. And I didn't want to lose the family we've built. His admission floored me. Love is compromise, not passion. But was that enough? The conversation turned raw, tears, accusations, pleas. Dad admitted his own regrets. Marrying Sophia for stability after Mom's death. Ignoring her signals. By night's end, no decisions were made. Divorce loomed, but so did understanding. I retreated to my room, processing. Dad's silence was a betrayal too, protecting the facade at all costs. The next few days blurred into a haze of awkward silences and forced normalcy. Dad and Sophia slept in separate rooms, their interactions polite but strained. Abigail texted me constantly, begging for updates, but I kept her at arm's length. The secret was out, yet the wounds festered. I threw myself into my college classes, majoring in psychology, ironic given the mess at home. In lectures on family dynamics and societal norms, I saw our situation reflected. The pressure to conform, the cost of authenticity. But theory didn't ease the pain. One afternoon, Abigail showed up at campus, waiting outside my dorm. We can't avoid this forever, she said, her eyes searching mine. Fine, I relented, leading her to a quiet bench. What do you want? To fix us. Our friendship means everything to me. Friendship. The word felt hollow. How can it when you've been lying? She took a deep breath. Because I was scared. Coming out to you of all people. What if you rejected me? Rejected her? The irony burned. I'd been the one pining in silence. I wouldn't have. But choosing Sophia? That's a slap in the face. Abigail's face softened. It's not a choice against you. Sophia and I. We connect on a deep level. But I love you too, Char, as a friend. As a friend. Those words crushed me. My feelings weren't reciprocated. They never had been. I stood, anger surging. Then go be with her. But don't expect me to approve. She reached for me, but I pulled away. Please don't do this. We can work through it. Work through it? The damage was done. I walked away, tears blurring my vision. Back in my dorm, I confronted my reflection. Why did her rejection hurt more than the affair itself? Because it forced me to admit my own desires, unrequited and raw. That evening, I called a support hotline for LGBTQ youth, anonymous and desperate. The counselor listened as I poured out the story. The discovery, the confessions, my confusion. It's okay to feel conflicted, she said. Love doesn't fit neat boxes, but boundaries matter. Boundaries. Ours have been shattered. Inspired, I decided to set some. I texted Sophia. We need to talk alone. We met at a coffee shop downtown away from home. She looked weary, her usual poise frayed. Charlotte, I'm glad you reached out. Are you leaving Dad? I asked bluntly. She stirred her coffee. We're discussing separation. It's amicable but painful. Painful for everyone. And Abigail? Is she worth it? Sophia's eyes lit. She is. For the first time I feel seen. But I regret the hurt I've caused you. Regret didn't undo it. We talked about her past. Growing up in a conservative household, suppressing her sexuality, marrying Dad as a safe choice. I thought I could change, she admitted. But you can't deny who you are forever. Her story mirrored my fears. What if I ended up like her, trapped in denial? Do you think Dad will ever forgive you? He's trying. But forgiveness takes time. Time. We all needed it. As we parted, a tentative understanding formed. Not approval but empathy. Back home, Dad was waiting. Sophia's moving out temporarily, he said, his voice heavy. I nodded, unsurprised. How are you holding up? Hurting but relieved in a way. We were living a lie. A lie that had sheltered us all. Now exposed, we had to rebuild. Over dinner, takeout, no pretense of family meals, I broached my own truth. Dad, there's something I need to tell you. I'm gay. He paused, forked midway. Then to my shock, he smiled faintly. I suspected, kiddo. And I'm okay with it. Just be happy. His acceptance floored me. All those years fearing judgment, and he was fine? But it came too late to prevent the chaos. Abigail called that night, voice trembling. Sophia told me about your talk. Are we okay? Okay. No. But maybe someday. The conversation ended awkwardly, loose ends dangling. The next week, Sophia packed her things, Abigail helping discreetly. Watching them, I felt a pang. Not just jealousy but envy for their courage. As Sophia drove away, Dad and I stood on the porch. What now? I asked. We move forward, he replied. But forward meant choices. Support them or cut ties. The moral gray areas weighed heavy. Rumors started at school. Whispers about Abigail's older girlfriend. She faced stares, judgment from peers. One day, she confronted me in the hallway. People are talking. They think it's weird. It is weird, I snapped. Age difference, family ties. Society isn't kind to that. Her face hardened. Society isn't kind to us at all. But I'm not hiding anymore. Her defiance sparked something in me. Was I hiding still? That night I journaled my thoughts, unpacking the ethics. Love versus loyalty, truth versus peace. Each decision carried a price. The climax came at a family gathering. Aunt Linda's birthday. Dad insisted we act normal, but tension simmered. When Abigail arrived as Sophia's friend, eyebrows raised. Aunt Linda, ever the gossip, pulled me aside. What's going on with your stepmom and that girl? I deflected, but inside I boiled. Later in the backyard I cornered them. This has to stop. You're parading it now. Sophia stood firm. We're not hiding. If people judge, that's on them. Abigail added, Char, join us. Be part of this new chapter. New chapter? Felt like erasure of the old. I stormed off, but their words lingered. Was resistance my own fear manifesting? Months passed, a slow unraveling and rebuilding. Dad filed for divorce quietly, citing irreconcilable differences. Sophia moved into a small apartment downtown, Abigail often staying over. I visited sporadically, testing the waters. Our conversations evolved, from accusations to introspection. Sophia shared books on queer history, opening my eyes to generations of struggle. We fight for the right to love, she said. But it comes with sacrifices. Sacrifices like fractured families, lost friends. Abigail lost some of hers, shunned for her inappropriate relationship. She confided in me during a rare lunch. It hurts, but Sophia's worth it. Worth it. I envied her certainty. My own dating attempts, tentative outings with women from apps, felt superficial, shadowed by the drama. One evening Dad dropped a bomb. I'm seeing someone new. From church. Church. His conservative haven. Is she? Like Mom? He chuckled. No one's like your mom. But she's kind, traditional. Traditional. The word irked me. Was he regressing? What about accepting me? Us. He sighed. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement. But I love you regardless. His nuance frustrated me. Society's double standards. Straight affairs forgiven, queer ones vilified. I vented to a therapist, unpacking layers of resentment. Meanwhile, Abigail and Sophia's relationship deepened. They attended pride events, advocating openly. I watched from afar, mixed feelings churning. Part of me admired their boldness. Another resented the fallout. The turning point came at Thanksgiving. Dad hosted, inviting Sophia cordially. Abigail came too, the air thick with unspoken history. Over turkey, conversations tiptoed around landmines. Then Dad raised a glass. To new beginnings. Sophia echoed, and honest ones. Abigail squeezed her hand, visible affection sparking murmurs from relatives. Uncle Tom, blunt as ever, asked, so you two are together? Sophia nodded proudly. Yes. The table erupted, support from some, shock from others. Dad stayed neutral, but I saw his discomfort. Later, alone with him, I pressed. Why invite them if it bothers you? Because family's more than blood or vows. It's choice. Choice. The theme echoed. We'd all chosen secrets, truths, forgiveness. But my choice? I hadn't fully made it. Post-dinner, Abigail pulled me aside. I miss you, Char. Really miss our friendship. I miss it too, I admitted. But it's hard. She hugged me. Then let's rebuild. Slowly. Slowly sounded possible. As winter set in, we met for coffee, reminiscing. Laughter returned, tentative but genuine. Sophia joined sometimes, her presence less jarring. Yet conflicts arose. When Abigail announced plans to move in with Sophia, Dad balked. She's too young, he told me privately. Age is just a number. I echoed Abigail's words, surprising myself. He raised an eyebrow. You defend them now? Maybe. Love's complicated. Complicated indeed. My own romance blossomed with a classmate, Mia, sweet, uncomplicated. But comparisons lingered. Her normalcy highlighted their drama. One night a crisis hit. Abigail called, sobbing. Sophia's family disowned her. After hearing about us. Sophia's conservative parents learning the truth cut ties. I rushed over, finding Sophia stoic but broken. They said I'm a disgrace. I held her hand. You're not. You're brave. For the first time I saw her vulnerability fully. The price of authenticity. Lost heritage. Judgment. Abigail comforted her, their bond a lifeline. Witnessing it, my resentment faded. They'd paid dearly. Who was I to judge further? As spring approached, I came out publicly, posting on social media. Support flooded in, but so did hate, trolls echoing societal biases. It mirrored their experience, forging solidarity. At a local pride parade we marched together. Dad even joined, a small step. Abigail linked arms with me. See? We're stronger. Stronger, yes. But scars remained. The journey taught me that love demands trade-offs. Ethics aren't black and white. In quiet moments I reflected on the initial shock. Walking in on them had upended everything. But perhaps for the better. Truth, painful as it was, bred growth. With time, the dust settled into a new normal. Sophia and Abigail thrived, their apartment a haven of art and advocacy. They hosted support groups for queer women, turning pain into purpose. I attended one, sharing my story, finding community. Dad's new girlfriend, Karen, brought stability. Traditional, yes, but kind. She encouraged him to educate himself on LGBTQ issues, bridging gaps. My relationship with Mia deepened, free from secrets. Yet, echoes of the past influenced us, discussions on ethics, boundaries. What would you do if faced with betrayal? I asked her once. Forgive if genuine, she replied. Life's too short for grudges. Grudges I'd held too long. At a family barbecue, our first post-divorce, tensions eased. Laughter flowed, old wounds healing. Abigail and I rebuilt fully, late-night talks resuming. Do you regret it? I asked. Never. It led here to freedom. Freedom's cost. Sophia's lost family, Dad's heartache, my shattered illusions. But gains too, authenticity, deeper bonds. One evening, Sophia confided, I wish I'd come out sooner. Saved everyone pain. But would you have met Abigail? I countered. She smiled. Fate's tricky. Tricky indeed. Society's evolving views helped. More acceptance, but prejudices lingered. At work, Sophia faced subtle discrimination, her lifestyle questioned. Abigail's art explored themes of forbidden love, channeling hurt into creativity. I pursued grad school, focusing on social psychology, inspired by our saga. Researching familial responses to coming out, I saw patterns: denial, anger, acceptance. In therapy, I unpacked lingering jealousy. It wasn't just about Abigail, I realized. It was fear of my own path. The therapist nodded. Confrontation forces growth. Growth came in waves. When Abigail and Sophia announced engagement, reactions varied. Dad congratulated them stiffly. Relatives gossiped. I stood as maid of honor, a full-circle moment. The wedding, small, intimate, symbolized triumph. Vows exchanged under blooming trees, tears of joy. Dad walked Sophia down the aisle, a gesture of peace. Post-ceremony, Abigail pulled me aside. Thank you for being here. Where else would I be? I hugged her. Family. Family redefined. No longer bound by blood or law, but choice and forgiveness. Years later, reflecting, I saw the ripple effects. Our story inspired others, friends coming out, families reconciling. But questions remained. Was the pain justified? Did love excuse deception? In the end, life's moral maze offers no easy answers. We navigate, paying prices, hoping for redemption. Was it right for Sophia and Abigail to pursue their love at the expense of family stability? Or should personal happiness always come second to collective harmony?